Hi, hello, I'm Sam Harrison. I read, review and discuss fantasy and science fiction books. And today we're going to be doing my 2024 Superlatives. So you may notice that we're in a slightly different background. When I do my year-end awards videos, I have kind of, since last year, I have decided that I'm going to start doing them in front of the Christmas tree, and that my wife lovingly decorated. I'm going to take advantage of that lovely set dressing. And tonight, everyone in the house is asleep, so I'm going to be very slightly quieter than normal. So, what are superlatives? So, these are basically like most likely to, or like best hang, or whatever. Like, these are the kind of American high school yearbook superlatives. What I thought was I would go through a list of fun superlative awards that I made up and give them to books or characters or, world building stuff from this year of reading. Because it's been a fantastic year of reading, and I thought this could be just a fun video to talk about. And I'm going to be releasing this one on Christmas Day. So if you are watching this on Christmas Day and you just need a bit of an escape from family, friends, partner, yourself, your own reflection, then I hope that this has provided that for you. And I hope that this kind of fun, dumb video is floating your boat on this Christmas Day. And if you're not celebrating Christmas, I hope you're having a lovely day anyway. Let's go through my list. So I've wrote the list and I've wrote some notes. And we're going to start with character that I most want to get a beer with, and that's going to be Adeline from Wind and Truth, Stormlight Archive. So Adeline is he's like everyone's best friend. Like, he remembers things about characters, he remembers names, he remembers how he knows people, he tries to, treat everyone with respect, he loves playing card games. I feel like he would be a great person to go to like a board game pub with, and like you could teach him to play like, dueling games like Magic the Gathering or something that would be like genuinely probably quite fun to play with someone who has like that tactical mind, who's here to have fun, but also enjoys, having a drink and hanging out. And there's also been scenes actually of Adeline like in the pub having a good time in previous books, and it seemed like he was a good time, So Adeline is my number one pick for person I want to get a beer with. My number two award is fantasy character that I never want to get a beer with, and I'll tell you who this is. It is Matt Cawthon in Wheel of Time books 1 and 2. Matt is written so badly in these first two books. He's such a great character later on. Like, if I had a most improved character award, it would be Matt Cawthon. But Matt Cawthon, books 1 and 2, Eye of the World, and why am I forgetting this? The Great Hunt. He sucks. He's boring. He's like hiding in a shadow, like got his creepy dagger. Like, this is a bad hang. Like, I do not want to hang out with Matt Cawthon in those books. Maybe like Airman's Field Matt Cawthon before the adventure starts, but like not Matt once the adventure has begun. Once post Shadala Goth, Matt sucks. Award number 3 is the fantasy place that I would most like to live. And this isn't actually technically a fantasy place. This is a sci-fi place, and this is the Wistful space station from the Hybrid Helix series. So tons of reasons why I think this would be great. A, living on a space station is cool. Like, let's just say it. I love Deep Space Nine. I love Babylon 5. Living on a space station would be cool. The space station seems like, despite lots of bad things happening like around, the actual station feels like a pretty safe place to be. Apart from the book with the vampire in it, like, the majority of the time spent on that station is actually like pretty chill. And one of the great things that J.C. Byrne does is reuse locations. So there's like a breakfast place that they all go to called Pops. There is a bar called the Dripping Bucket, which is obviously a reference to the Dripping Bucket, that is the like interdimensional tavern, and like those kinds of locations and the like world building that happens within those locations, I really like them. I really like that Wistful feels like a like lived in place, and it's like, you know, in real life a lot of us will be like, oh yeah, I love trying new things, but we'll still go to the same coffee place, we'll go to the same like place for lunch because we love the food there. We go to the same pubs over and over. Like my friends and I, we went for our Christmas drink. Our like group of friends, we go for a drink every Christmas to make sure that we all hang out. And we just went to King Street in Bristol again, the same place we go every single time. And I think even the same as last year, we ended up in Hey Dude, which is a fantastic bar. If you're ever in Bristol, it's a lot of fun. So yeah, like Rohan and the cast of characters in the Hybrid Helix feel like they have that same sort of vibe. You know, they feel like a group of real friends. The locations that they go to feel like hangouts that you go to. Like it's like going to Quark's bar on Deep Space Nine. Like that's what the Dripping Bucket feels like. And I'm a big fan. I just love that like lived in world that we have in the Hybrid Helix. It's one of my favourite parts of the series, actually. So moving on to fantasy place that I never want to visit, and this is going to be also a sci-fi place, and this is Imesh, the world of Imesh in the Sun Eater. And I'll tell you why I never want to go there, is because I spent so much fucking time there in Empire of Silence and it was boring as shit. I never want to go there again. Also, it does seem like it sucks. Like the weather seems bad, there was a plague, and like everyone just died. There's gladiator fights. People can just like, you know, challenge you to a duel and then murder you. Like, this sounds like it sucks. You know what I mean? Like, this place sucks, and I don't want to live there. Next up, we have an award that a friend suggested that I do when I said I was going to make these, which is fantasy pet that I want in real life. And this is going to be, for me, Heinrich from The Empire of the Wolf. So Heinrich is a really big, really friendly dog who protects and loves Helena, the protagonist of Empire of the Wolf. And number one, Heinrich is a good boy. Number two, I just love like his energy in the series, and I've always wanted a dog anyway, and I feel like he was the best dog that I read in fantasy this year. So yeah, I'm a big Heinrich stan. I know Heinrich will not be in the sequel series because it's set hundreds of years later, but I want Richard Swan to know that I love Heinrich, and I fully support more Heinrich related content. Heinrich short story, maybe? I don't know. Now, unfortunately, I do have another negative award to give out, and I felt like this one, a lot of people have been putting out like most disappointing or like worst books videos, and that's not really my vibe. Like, if I don't like a book at all, I kind of just stop reading it and start reading something else, you know. And like, I will liberally DNF. I find that if a book is below 3 stars, I'll DNF it pretty quickly. If it's 3 stars, it's like a 60% chance I'll DNF. I mostly finish 4 and 5 star books, so I didn't have much to talk about when it came on the like bad books video, and I don't really want to call people out, you know. But what I want to talk about, and I want to commiserate with you guys on, is disappointing threequels. So this year I read several third books in series that I found generally disappointing, and unfortunately this award is also going to the Empire of the Wolf. So I apologise, Richard Swan, if I've drawn you in with how much I loved Heinrich. I ended up not loving Trials of Empire. I liked a lot of it, but I felt it had what I personally, a lot of people won't be bothered by this, I personally see as a bit of a mistake, or like foible, I don't know the right term, which is that you go on like a side quest, which doesn't really matter in the end, and then also there's a big climactic battle, but we don't really see or spend enough time in it. I feel like the conflict is much more personal, and that's what I liked. But there's also a lot of the book spent on like recruiting an army, which in the end there are no like big army battles, or like there's not enough of like a big army battle to make the recruitment section of the book worthwhile to me personally. A lot of people love this book. A lot of people have different opinions to me, but for me, and it was quite disappointing. And I will say though that the biggest reason that it was so disappointing was because of how much I loved books 1 and 2. Like book 1 was my number 2 book of last year, and I have to say Justice of Kings is probably, if I was gonna do like an all-time top 10 of just single books, not like series, Justice of Kings would be on it, and it would be maybe even top 5. Like, I feel like Justice of Kings is one of those books that I like can recommend to just like almost any fantasy reader. And I know that a lot of my friends had big problems with it, so maybe that's not true, but I loved it. Anyway, next one is Best Magic. So I read a lot of fantasy books this year, and a lot of those had really interesting magic. So this isn't just going to be like magic systems in the Brandon Sanderson way. This is just going to be best magic. And I have to say that the best magic did end up being more of a hard magic system than I usually like. So I'm almost always, I would say, make your magic soft, make it mysterious. You know, I don't want magic to be science. I want magic to be mystical, mysterious, magical. And you know who had a really cool magic system? Brian McClellan's Powder Mage series. So I often make jokes to my buddies Ross and Laura about, and they run the booktube channel Hardy's Books. Really fantastic channel, better than mine. But they put out a lot less videos, so they're not competition because I completely, smother them with quantity, whereas they kind of come at me with quality. But you, fans of my channel, you love the slop, right? You just want loads of it. You just want to tune out, listen to me chat about books for a bit. And that's what we're here for. So, the Ross and Laura often read like really smart books. So they'll read books that are like have the like fantastic prose, or like they're like super smart guy books or whatever. And my joke to them is, Laura, Ross, this does not look like this book has a wizard with a gun in it. That's the joke that I make. And a lot of that kind of informed by Dresden Files and Powder Mage. It's also informed by a fantastic meme that my friend Andre sent me of, it's like a manga of like a wizard, and she goes like, oh no, I'm out of mana, I better use American magic, and she just draws a like 9mm pistol. It's very funny, I love it. But Powder Mage is wizards with guns. They snort gunpowder to get magical abilities, and all their abilities are like gunpowder and bullet and gun related. It's so fun. It's like if you were to come at like 13-year-old me and 38-year-old me, we would both be like, hell yeah, these wizards have guns. And I do not apologise for still having a juvenile mindset and loving wizards with guns. You're subscribed to this channel, maybe you're the problem. Next up, we have had best magic, but now we're having coolest tech. And the coolest tech this year is gonna be the high matter swords from Sun Eater. So lots of awards going to, multiple awards going to the same series here. And I feel like there's kind of showcasing the series that I've really loved this year in a slightly different way. High matter swords are cool as hell because they are lightsabers, right? But they're made of like hydrogen, I think, or something like that. Well, they're made of high matter, but the high matter is a single molecule thin, so it can essentially cut through anything. There are certain materials that are like high matter resistant, but just the concept of like a mega super cool sword that works kind of like a lightsaber but just cuts through anything, and the like high matter jewels that are in the books, excellent, chef's kiss, 0 notes. Christopher Rocchio has created something that is, in my mind, like a really strong, like, well, we've had lightsabers before, let's try something else. And he's just absolutely nailed it. And funnily enough, if I had done best magic last year, it probably would have gone to The Bound and the Broken. And The Bound and the Broken also has like magic lightsabers, and they're great too. I love them. Okay, this one is another negative superlative, and this is least believable romance subplot. And this one is going to, I would say, maybe the least believable romance subplot of all time in the entire genre, which is Rand in the Wheel of Time and his 3 wives. So, extremely minor spoilers. If you've not read any of the Wheel of Time and you don't want to know anything about this, don't watch this clip. Wait for me to move on to the next bit. Like fast forward 20 seconds or something, I don't know. Rand having 3 wives is ridiculous. The fact that they're all okay with it, the fact that none of them, like, well, not even none of them are okay with it, the fact that they're all like jealous of each other and like they're all like, well, this isn't ideal, but I guess we have to put up with it because we love Rand. Like, you actually don't. Like, you could just be like happy with someone else. Like, it's so funny, it's ridiculous, and like, obviously I need to read more. I haven't finished the series, I don't know how this ends, but everything that I see from like fans of the series, like, very few people are like, yeah, he should have 3 wives, that's a cool idea. Scariest monster is also going to the Wheel of Time. So I did have a lot of options here. There's been some really good monsters, creatures, villains in books that I've read this year, but I've got to say that the Golem from Wheel of Time are brilliant. Like, there's a scene in Winter's Heart where one of them like slithers through a hole in a wall, but like they are man-sized in shape, super strong, resistant to magic. It's dope. Like, such interesting characters. The fact that they're also intelligent and that they like live forever, like, incredible. Super scary, really well written, really well designed as like a character. Tons and tons of time for these characters. We've got 2 awards left. One of them is creepiest villain, and this is going to go to, are they a villain? Yeah, I think so. It's going to go to Khan Sagara, also from Sun Eater. So loads of Sun Eater awards here, 1 negative, 2 positive. Khan Sagara is a man who is constantly cloning himself and implanting his memories into his clones. He is this like desiccated corpse almost sitting on a throne on the cover of Howling Dark. Such an interesting character, so creepy. The way that like Rocchio writes the creepy environments in Sun Eater are just fantastic. So like the Cielcin ships, the places that they've like attacked, and not Borosevo. I can't remember the name of the planet or place that Kantagara lives, but wherever he lives is also scary as hell and terrifying. And you've got the like, it's just creepy, and like his army of like zombie, like cybernetic zombies, that's cool. Oh, just a fantastic, like really, really well done villain, antagonist character. Lots of time for that character, and I mean, it's really good that they're on the cover as well, because it gives you like that visual to accompany how creepy they are. Loved it. Fantastic. Well done, Christopher Rocchio. Final award is going to Best Non-Human Character. I had a lot of options here too. So we have Loyal from Wheel of Time. Unfortunately, we don't see much of Loyal after, like, he's kind of in the early books a lot, and then he kind of fades into the background a bit for the later ones. We've got a ton of characters from The Wandering Inn. There's lots of non-humans in that. We've got Kissenveer, we've got Celis, Kershire, and like a ton of other non-human characters. A lot of the supporting cast in that series are non-human. And then we've also got some fantastic characters in the hybrid helix, like Wei Li, because he was very high on this list when I was thinking about it. And I ended up going for Torren from The Wandering Inn. Torren is a reanimated skeleton who kind of like runs on like the three laws of robotics almost from like Isaac Asimov. He's like, you have to do what Erin says, you have to protect Erin, you have to serve Erin. And he starts off as like incredibly dumb, but as he gets smarter and smarter, and he gets a bit more like cruel and violent, like, is he the character that I want to hang out with the most? No. But he is one of the most interesting non-human characters. And I think that because we also spend a lot of time directly in his POV, I think that really, really works. And I've got a lot of time for him as a character. So that's it. That's the superlatives. Again, if you're watching this on Christmas Day, which is when I'm planning to post it live, I hope you've been having a lovely day, whether you're celebrating Christmas or not. I hope that if you needed it, this has been a nice reprieve for you. I posted it after the King's speech, so everyone had the time to focus on that. And if you like this video, please give it a like. If you've got some other ideas for any of these awards, so we had character I most want to hang out with, fantasy character I never want to hang out with, fantasy place I want to live, fantasy place I never want to visit, fantasy pet I want in real life, most disappointing threequel, best magic, coolest sci-fi tech, least believable romance subplot, scariest monster, creepiest villain, and best non-human character. So those are all the characters from this year, awards from this year. If you've got any fun ideas, please drop them down below. Doesn't have to be a book that I've read, although, that would be better if it was, obviously. And if you liked this video, give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will speak to you tomorrow.